Everyone else is building smaller displacement turbo engines, and Land Rover still offers a supercharged V8 in the Defender. I'll include a link to the Land Rover and Lehigh's website in the description down below. If you have any questions and any help, just ask for Bradley. Let's get right into the review. Under the hood is a supercharged 5-liter V8 that goes through an 8-speed. Fuel economy is 14 around town, 19 on the highway, with power outputs being 493 horsepower and then 450 pound-feet of torque. Now that we hit 500,000 subscribers, let's go to 1 million. I appreciate the help. All these new Defenders have an interesting checker plate design now where it kind of looks more fancy rather than functional. And then they have slightly revised the headlight style on the new Defenders. And this one has the satin paint protection film, so it gives it a different finish. We also have fog lights and black painted trim at the bottom. And the contrast on this particular unit I think looks really good. Now our tire and wheel setup is 275 by 45 by 22. The smallest wheels you can get on a V8 is a 20-inch wheel, and you can get these with all-terrain tires if you so desire. Now when it comes to the suspension, this does come with the air suspension too. Got the new vent style. It's kind of like smaller. They're kind of going for more of a, I don't know, understated design it seems like. And then you've got the two-tone black trim at the bottom. Taking a look at the side profile, the contrast with the gloss black in the top and the bottom and the satin in the middle looks really good in person. Now when it comes to key fob features, you've got the Land Rover logo there on the back. On the front face we have our lock and unlock. That's for the lights, and that's to unlock the rear swing gate. Now popping into the rear, you notice the handle is gloss, but then the body satin. Can't wrap everything, but ooh. So you got these buttons to raise and lower the rear suspension with that air suspension system. And when it comes to space in the back, the 110 is, I think, perfect when it comes to practicality. It's got a decent amount of cargo space, but then the overall vehicle is not too big. Smoked out taillights, and they're flush with the bodywork now when it comes to the design. And then look at those exhaust tips, super aggressive with the V8 model. That will cap things off for the exterior. Keyless entry, and let's check out the interior. Got the exposed rivets, lots of soft touch on the door panel. And that nice brown trim continues onto the seats. They're perforated all down the center. Legroom back here is good. We have a little storage net. We've got our own climate zone in the rear, and no cooled seats, but we do have heated seats for the back. USB ports too. You got the windows at the top to let in extra light, and then this is equipped with a panoramic sunroof and plenty of headroom. Keyless entry for up front, and let's check that out. Blind spot monitoring with the mirrors. Down below we've got our memory seat function, all of your window controls, and then you've got that same design with the exposed rivets and the soft touch. More of that perforated trim all down the center, and then the driver's seat's power adjustable with lumbar support. The front passenger's also power adjustable with lumbar support. Soft touch all around the steering wheel. You've got practical controls like your heated steering wheel function, cruise control, controls for the center. There's regular stalks on the back, and it has a very rugged design overall. Full digital gauge cluster. You can change from a single dial to a double dial like we have here. You can also change the information that's displayed there in the center depending on what you're looking for. This is equipped with a heads-up display, and then even this trim at the far end of the dash is soft to the touch, and then you've got, of course, beautiful like leather with the stitching. And I'm not sure if, I think this is the, it feels synthetic. 360 camera system, really good resolution. You have an on-road, off-road, and towing view, and here's a quick look at the different angles there. Just like other new Land Rover models, a lot is built into the screen. The screen itself is massive. It's a huge tablet here on the dash. It does respond quickly. It has Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. And yeah, I'd say that overall it's a good system. I like how it shows you air quality. That's kind of cool. Got the shifter just below that, and then we have physical controls for stuff like the air suspension here on the left side, your hill descent control, your low range, and then the multi-function controls that can turn on the heated ventilated seats. You also can change the drive mode with this multi-function control. The fan speed, temperature, a lot is built into those little dials. Got some charge port action below, cup holders, angled phone charging pad to hold your phone, and then pretty big center console. This goes all the way back, and then you do have nice trim on the top of it. There's more nice trim on the dash with the grab handle, and then we have a camera rear view mirror. So X Dynamic SE, just under 100,000 for the base price. Quite a few options. I mean, the PPF alone is over $5,000. $118,611. Let's see how this Defender performs. So you know, I just realized looking at the air quality meter, the air quality is so good outside because we just had a storm. The car has inside has worse air quality than outside. That like never happens when I do these reviews. It's always the opposite where the car is better. But it's just funny that the air is so crisp, so fresh today. So this is kind of a weird year for Defender reviews because I reviewed the 2-liter. I reviewed the V8, but I still haven't done a review on the inline 6. Hopefully that'll come soon. And then of course another Octa review. The Octa is always a fun one to check out. Now this V8, even though it's slightly detuned from the V8 Defender, right? This is just an X Dynamic SE with the V8. You know, you're not really going to be able to tell the difference. I mean, you're talking about like, what is it, like 11 or, yeah, it's like, I think it's like 11 pound-feet torque difference, and then the horsepower is like a little bit more than that. It's like just under 30 horsepower difference, so. Either way, you get that smooth supercharged V8 power delivery, so it's just got tons and tons of torque, but it's smooth with that torque. And in normal Defender fashion, this is incredibly comfortable on road, handles incredibly well. You know, this is a unibody independent suspension vehicle, so it goes around corners really well. Even though this weighs a lot, the vehicle itself weighs over 6,000 pounds. I mean, the gross vehicle weight rating is over 7,000. So, yes, you can get a big old tax write-off on one of these. I feel like they fixed the braking in the Defender. I remember the braking used to be a lot more kind of like herky-jerky. It seems like the pedal modulation's a lot smoother. And that's the one thing that I do like about Land Rover keeping their cars on the market for a little bit longer. Some, you know, other manufacturers, it's like new car all the time, new car all the time. Land Rover has got pretty long production periods for a lot of their cars. I mean, it seems like a lot of them will last for, look at this, by the way. It's fast. A lot of them will last for like, what, I don't know, like a decade pretty much, roughly. I think sometimes even a little bit more. So it gives Land Rover the chance to really refine things, and by the end of a vehicle's production run, it's, you know, typically a lot better depending on the changes they make. Sometimes Land Rover adds a little bit too much tech and performance, and then things get a little bit dicey. But with these Defenders, they already came with a lot of tech right out of the gate, so it seems like all the refinement has come to the driving experience and then reliability. The 25 pluses, from my understanding, you just have, you know, some things tweaked here and there to improve that reliability. And the Defender already is the most reliable Land Rover you can buy currently. Man, it's incredible. I mean, how well this drives. Why is there a big old dump truck? That's weird. It's incredible how well this drives for having 22s. One critique I will make with Land Rover is they need to figure out the brake packaging on these, and they need to make it better because, you know, I think the Defender, right, a lot of people buy this for, you know, cool off-road look, status symbol, but gosh, that throws you back in your seat a bit. I do think that they need to do a little bit more for the off-roading community, because the smallest wheel on this is a 20. The smallest wheel on an inline 6 is a 19. The smallest wheel on a 4-cylinder is an 18. I think that all Defenders should be able to fit an 18. Now I understand for like the Octa, they did special tires that go with the 20-inch wheels, and they're durable and this and that, but it's not just about like the sidewall puncture, it's also about comfort, because driving around in a vehicle with 22s is a lot less comfortable than a vehicle with 20s, than with 18s. And you know, Mercedes with the G63, they only can fit 20s on those as the smallest, but the G550 can fit 18s. You know, I'm long-term testing the Lexus LX. A lot of people compare that to a Land Rover, and that can fit 17s. And I haven't found myself in a situation where I'm like, oh man, I need way more brakes. I think the problem is a lot of these off-road luxury SUVs are over braked, and what I mean by that is it's like the brakes are great, but it's like too much. It doesn't need it, right? I'm not taking this thing around a racetrack and trying to be, you know, Nürburgring record. So I think doing smaller brakes for all the Defenders, or at least having, like, at least offered as an option, right? Okay, you can get like the, you know, high performance brake kit, or you can get the standard brake kit, and the standard brake kit will work with 18-inch wheels, doesn't matter the Defender. And then that'll allow for beefier tires, and again, the biggest thing is you can do that already on a 4-cylinder, but people want the power. They want the inline 6, they want the V8. So, let me know your thoughts on the V8 Defender. Land Rover, just like a lot of other automakers, has increased their prices over the last year. So it does kind of put the Defender in a little bit of a different world when it comes to the V8 Defender, you know, because before it was, I think, starting at around 90 something, and now it's starting at, well, it's still in the 90s technically, but, you know, the ones you see on dealer lots are all going to be probably over, well, after destination, they're all going to be over 100. So it's kind of a different market in a way.